The following is paid programming.
It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. E.G. Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and E.G. Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hey, everybody, this is the Tax Lady, and this is our time to talk taxes. And so if you're like sitting there going, oh, my gosh, what does this stuff mean? And how does it work on my return? And should I be concerned, or should I just ignore it? This is your place to learn about all the changes, the stimulus money, the CARES Act, how your tax return works. 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. You can text us at 716-803-0930. And I'm joined in studio with Chris Fabian. Hey, Chris.
Hello, Esther.
Hello, Christopher.
And Esther is live in the studio. It sounds like she's in the jungle of Costa Rica again.
But I'm not. I'm here.
She is here.
Am I messed up again, Frank? I'm not. Frank says I'm not messed up. Okay. So we'll talk about anything you want to talk about. 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on your cell phone. But I thought it was really important that you hear how hard it is for us to make a decision on what to do to make sure that your teenage kids and you are reconciled correctly when you file a tax return. Why don't we go to that first question that we got, Chris?
Sure. It says, hi, Esther. Question about the recovery provision and the stimulus. My son is a college student. He made about $1,000 last year, and we would only save $700 if we claimed him this year. Our income's over $190,000. Can we put him out on his own return so he gets the stimulus?
All right. So that's exactly what people have to ask themselves is, it is true you may benefit this year by claiming your kid in college, but with all the stimulus money passed and all the stimulus money that I think is going to be coming, your kid that you don't claim would then be eligible for 6, 12, possibly 14, and if they have enough income that the education credit would help to, they wouldn't get the refundable portion, but they'd get the regular portion, but they still would get the credit on the state of New York. You just have to put a pencil to it. So here's how we think. So let's say you have a kid that comes in and they've been on unemployment. And this is really, really important. Why is unemployment important?
Well, for a child, because that's unearned income, so that means kitty tax.
And so what does kitty tax mean?
It's extra cat litter duty. No, it's the tax. What that means is the child with the unearned income has to pay tax on that money at the parent's rate. So like for this texter who made $190,000, they're going to be in the 32% bracket. So the child would have to pay 32% on that unemployment.
Well, actually, I think
or is it a little
22,
bit?
22.
Okay.
All right. So their kid, if the kid made $10,000 in unemployment, the kid would pay $2,200 in additional taxes. And so you have to factor that in. So mom and dad in this case save $700, but if the kid had unemployment of $10,000, the kid pays $2,200. So the family as a whole loses money. So this is how we think about it. We have a kid here. The first thing we have to do is say, what is the income of the family that wants to claim them? If the income is so high that the parents get no benefit except for the $500 credit, then we go, okay, that means maybe we want the kid to file on his own. Then the next thing you got to look at it, what kind of income did the kid have? Did he have unemployment? So let's say the kid had $20,000 in unemployment, and at the parent's rate of 22%, the kid's going to pay almost $4,500 in kitty tax. So now it's back in the parent's side, right?
Yep.
So it swings back and forth, and you ultimately have to say, okay, here's what the kid will have to pay, here's what the parents have to pay, or this is what the kid's going to get, and this is what the parents get. And then the other thing you have to think about is the filing status, right?
Right. I mean, if it's a single parent and it's their only child, it goes from head of household to single, which could, depending on the income, could impact the taxes of the parent's return drastically.
Right, and not only that, maybe the parent would have gotten an earned income credit,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So you might have a parent that would be normally head of the household with an earned income credit, and the kid's in college. Well, the parents are going to get a refundable, if their income's low enough, a refundable American Opportunity Tax Credit. They're going to get an earned income credit because the kid's in college, right?
Yep.
And their income is lower. Oh, and you think, okay, well, this is easy then, but not really, because if the kid had $22,000 in unemployment, he's going to have to pay a 10%, $2,200, and he won't get the stimulus payments. And so you think about this, he's losing $1,800 and $2,200. Now it becomes how much is the parent that's going to get the earned income credit going to save? So it's really, if you're really doing a good job with your taxes this year, you have to do it many times, 2 and 3 ways.
Yep. Definitely. It is not an easy thing. I mean, I know if you're a do-it-yourselfer, we're not just saying it because we're from EG Tax. We want to see money in your pocket.
Right.
We want the best answer for your family. Don't just rush through your tax return doing it yourself.
That's true. I did an interview today for another radio station, and I said to them, the tax return is like a minefield. It looks all like dirt, and it looks swell to walk across. But if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to blow up something that you could have saved a lot of money with.
Yep.
And the other day, I did a tax return for this sweet guy. He lost his job because of COVID, took a bunch of money out of his IRA, which was allowable, like $90,000 to pay for his college. Okay, so then he said, I said, oh, great, I can taking one of these minefield things, I can spread this out over 3 years. And he says, no, I think I'd rather pay it up front. And I said, well, let me do it my way, because if we do it your way, you're going to lose all the stimulus money, because last year in 2019, they didn't get stimulus because when he had his job, they had a lot of money. This year, with his $90,000, he would have lost stimulus too. But when I split it up into 3, they got the full stimulus, right?
Yep.
24 and 18, and he ended up with a refund. And he says, well, how much would it have been my way? You would have owed $23,000. Oh my gosh! So my way got a $600 refund. I mean, these are big things, and you got to know what you're doing. Yep. Anyway, I'm Esther Gilius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. I'm going to take this call before our break. Ken, who's been waiting. Hi, Ken. How can we help you?
Yes, I have an adult child that has special needs. I claimed her on my taxes in 19. She's not filed, and I've got a problem. The tax preparer says if she can be claimed on ours return, then she's not eligible for the stimulus. But if I just don't claim her as a dependent this year, couldn't she file? She has $2,000 in income. Couldn't she file and be eligible for the stimulus?
Okay, so yes, there's nothing that we've seen anything that says that somebody that could have been your dependent has to be your dependent. So I don't know who your accountant was, but I will tell you there's nothing that we've seen, because we've checked with everybody on this. They did this law so quick. There's been no direction on that situation. So in my opinion, you should, if they come back and say, oh, you have to amend your 2019 return and give back the $500 for your daughter, that might be something they might do when they finally put their regulations out. But right now, I don't see how you're wrong.
Would I be okay to say to the preparer this year that don't claim her and then come to EG Tax in Batavia and file a return for her?
Sure.
Because I don't want to argue about it.
Right. Well, and I understand, and I understand the concern to the preparer, because initially when they did this law, Chris and I kept going.
The ethics.
We called and said, "What's the ethics here?" And they go, well, nothing's been written. So right now we're saying go for the gusto, and if they come with regulations that say you can't, then you might have to amend and give back 600 of it, but at least you'd have 600 of it, but at least you'd have the balance then from last year, 700 plus this year's 600 and any future stimulus.
Oh, I see. Because she didn't get anything.
Right.
That's right.
Okay?
So, all right. So that's what I think I'll do. And Chris, thank you. We've been playing tag all week.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. Hey, thanks, Ken.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, it's really difficult. We called National Association of Tax Professionals who
Yep.
we pay to
Ask these questions.
Right. And they said, we don't know what guidance to offer because there's been no guidance written. So we feel like, well, then if there's no guidance written and there's nothing unethical, then do it. You
Yep.
know? All right, I'm Mr. Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. And we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with your calls and texts on the other side.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me.
Hey, everybody, this is Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax. Our phone number here in studio is 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. You can text us at 716-8030930. Here's another one, and we got tons of stuff with these changes in the law. The PPP money. I had a client the other day, and that's really, when I take a look at the tax returns we've seen so far, and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, most people did okay. The people did okay.
Yes.
Because they had unemployment up the gazoo. And by the way, if you're somebody that's collected unemployment and you shouldn't have, the state is coming after people with a vengeance because they figure there was like a lot of fraud. So if you shouldn't have collected, you better stop. But anyway, one of my clients that has a local hair salon had lost a ton of money, paid for the operations with PPP money, and ended up with a $100,000 loss. And then the conundrum became, do we take the loss because did it affect? Is it non-recourse debt? Right. But thank God she's got a basis in her business, so we could take the loss. But that's another thing you have to think of is it's non-recourse debt. Can you take the loss? Yeah. So the business has to have, in my opinion, they have to have a basis.
And that's another thing there's no regulations out on right now.
That's true. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the phones.
Bill.
What? No?
Bill.
Okay. Hi, Bill. How can we help you?
Hi, Esther. My mom died last year, and I'm administering her estate.
Okay.
So I have the thing from the Internal Revenue Service that says, based on the information, they have to file Form 1041.
Right.
15th.
Yep.
And I have, like, her SSA 1099 form and a 1099-R from anything, like, with a part of a pension that she had. And I have, like, the pre-planned funeral trust gross taxable interest form.
Uh-huh. Well, can I first say something, Bill?
Yeah.
Your mom passed away when?
November.
Okay, so January through November, all the income that mom made while she was still alive goes on a 1040 form. Mm-hmm. The only thing that's going to go on the 1041 is going to be her estate. So that would be money that was earned up after her death.
Oh.
So that SSA form is going to go on her 1040 form.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So you want to be careful to make sure that you're doing the 1040 with mom's income while she was alive and the 1041 on income from her assets after she passed.
Okay. I don't even know if there's really much of that. That's fine.
Well, that's why. And if it's less than 600, you don't have to file.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay?
And any questions, I can call you guys?
You sure can.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's a big question for people when somebody passes away. What returns have to be filed?
Right.
So.
And people, you don't get good at doing things for people that have passed away because usually that doesn't happen very many in your lifetime. What do we got here?
Let's see. My son had no unemployment. However, some people say that since we were eligible to claim him, he would not be able to say no one can claim you.
No, that's different. That's on the education credit.
Yep.
On the education credit, you cannot get the refundable portion of the education credit if you were eligible to be claimed by somebody else. That's different than having the kid file his own return.
Right.
And that people are mixing up apples and oranges.
Definitely.
Okay. All right, and what else we got?
We got Esther, with all the computerization, why do banks, brokerage firms, etc. have until mid-February before getting statements out? Why can't they do this in January?
Probably, I think it was just a madhouse. You know, you think about the election and people were having fights and there was all this stuff, and then they changed the tax law on the 28th of December, and the IRS really kind of wasn't open for business. I just think that people are. It's just slow, and I understand your frustration.
Yeah.
But the IRS only opened up yesterday.
Right. And I know the brokerage firms, it's more because a lot of people are invested in mutual funds, and mutual funds change their reporting and their gains and stuff like that. So then the firms who used to issue them out by the end of January would send out a corrected one in February,
That's
and
right.
then they
That's
would send
murder.
out a corrected one in March.
Yep.
So they're trying to delay on the corrected to give them the extra time
Yep.
to get everything reported on a one-time deal.
I like that, Chris. Okay, let's go to Michael. Hi, Michael. How can we help you, sir?
Yes, how are you, sir?
Good.
I cashed in an insurance policy this year that I had for myself from years ago, and it was for $25,000, but I gave the money to my 2 children. Do they have to pay tax on that, or do I pay tax on that?
You do, Mike. The person that owns the policy now, but here's the thing. Did you cash it in because of COVID? Were you helping your kids because they lost their job? Was there an impact in your family due to COVID?
No, he was purchasing a home, and I was trying to help him out.
Okay, well, that just means you get a star on your crown in heaven, but not so much from the IRS.
Now, did you get a 1099 for that from the insurance company?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and it's in your name and social, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So,
And is the full $25,000 taxable, or is the box 2 different than box 1?
no, they had down there the taxes were about $5,000 and something.
All right, so the taxable portion was only 5?
Yeah.
Well, that's not even bad. And if you're in the 10% bracket, it's $500 in taxes.
I'm not sure if I better read that again because I thought it.
Well, you look in box 2, box 2 of the 1099R.
Okay, and that would tell me what I would have.
That's going to tell you what
The
the
ta- what's
tax.
tax-
That's going to
what-
tell you the taxable portion.
What goes on your tax return?
Right.
Oh, I see. All right, I got you.
All right, Mike.
Thank you very much.
You're a good dad. Bye-bye. Okay, we got
I think Dan in PA.
Dan in PA. Yes, sir. Hey, Dan in PA. How can we help you, sir?
Good. Esther, listen, can you help me out? I've been trying to print my 1099-G form. I spent quite a bit of time on the website, the NewYork.gov,
Uh-huh.
and I struggled. Finally, I found my 1099, but when I went to print it, it only printed the top page. None of the financials were available.
You don't need to find it. You only need the top page. You need the 1099-G.
He's not getting the amount. He's not getting the
Oh,
figures
you're not-
on it.
all right,
It's not
do
printing
you,
that.
Can you read it, Dan?
Yep, I can read it on the.
All right, then just handwrite it and put it in your notes so that in the event, so that you put the correct information on your tax return. If you're sending
Or-
it electronically, you won't need the backup information unless they audit you, and you can always produce that information and make sure you have your EIN number.
Yeah, you can
correctly.
take a screenshot of it, take a picture with your phone.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
I tried it 2 days in a row, and I got the exact same result.
It just
Well, it
might
could
be
your
how your printer is
It's
set
your
up.
printer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
Okay.
buy a new printer.
Well, I think you just have to reconfigure it. You know, maybe go down to your Office Depot store and ask them to fix you with your printer. But I would handwrite it. Make sure you get your IN number and just handwrite for your records what you see on the screen. And like Chris says, if you could do a screenshot and print it from your cell phone, that would be good too.
All right, I'll do that.
All right, thank you. All right, we got Mark. Hi, Mark. How can we help you, sir?
Yes, hi, thank you. 2 quick questions regarding my 24-year-old daughter.
Yep.
She moved out of the house in August
Uh-huh.
last year when she finished up her master's and got a full-time job.
Right.
So can I?
No,
Should I?
you can't.
Or is it a time?
You can't claim her because you can only claim children that are full-time students up to the age of 24. In the year that they turn 24, then the child can no longer be claimed as a dependent if their income exceeds like $4,500. So your daughter has a job and she's over 24, so you cannot claim her
Well, she turned 24 in May.
in the year that they turn 24.
So once the year is. So
Righto.
20,
You got it.
I can no longer claim her.
Yes, sirree, Bobby.
But if she was living in my house then?
No, sir.
Oh.
Once they hit 24 and they make over that 40, is it 4750?
4150
Yeah,
something.
it's around 4,000 in the force. If they're working and made money, you can't claim them. Now, you can claim a child or anyone that lives in your house forever if they're a relative, and as long as they lived in your house for 12 months and they had taxable income under that $4,500 figure. But once they're that age 24,
Right.
because prior to 24 she could have made whatever she wanted. As long as you were giving her over 50% support, you could have still claimed her. Once she hit 24, that's that $4,000 figure comes into play.
Okay, so the follow-up question to that then is education. So she incurred, or we incurred, I should say, because we shared in the cost of her master's in 2020, about $5,000. The education credit,
That goes to her.
she can claim that on her?
That's correct. And it's her master's, so it's going to be lifetime learning.
Right, because she already finished the 4 years.
That's correct.
All right, so she can claim that on hers.
That's right.
All right, and
Just say to her, sweetheart, would you like to give Daddy some money? I got a break for the news. I'll talk to you the other side. Thanks for calling, Mark. I'm Esther Gilius, the tax lady. See you on the other side.
We are family. I got
Hey, I'm Esther Gilius, the tax lady from EG Tax, and
we are
we want to help you with your taxes. And I will tell you, if I think, I've been in the tax business for 100 million years, and this is probably one of the most challenging because there's so much money out there, and if you do it incorrectly, you can really hurt somebody a lot, or somebody could hurt themselves a lot. So that's why it's so important that we get that information out to you. So we got some other emails, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. Before you read that, I'm going to do David, who's waited so long. Hi, Dave. How can we help you, sir?
Oh, hi. Thank you very much for taking my call. Listen, I'll try to make this as succinct as possible here, but yearly I receive an annual RMD from a 403B that I have, and it's on December 15th is when I receive it of the end of the year. And I rolled it over back into my account, and it is dated for January 6th, 2021, the paperwork that I have from the company. My question is really basic. Would I be able to recover the federal tax that I've already paid on that?
Well, Dave, sorry to interrupt you, but you said this was your RMD?
Yeah,
You're over 72?
I'm 73, yes.
Okay. Are you still working?
No, I'm not.
Okay. You cannot do a
rollover.
rollover with an RMD.
I'm sorry?
You cannot do a rollover with an RMD. That money has to stay in your pockets. It cannot go back in an IRA.
The only good thing was you really didn't have to do an RMD last year, but the time to put it back in has passed. So any money you took out, you weren't allowed to put back into
He
an
did
IRA.
it within 60 days. So
Yeah, but he wasn't allowed to.
I did. I have the paperwork from the company.
you took the distribution in December, and it was put back in a different company in January, right?
No, it was back in the same company.
Okay.
It's back in the same company. I mean, I talked to the gentleman that handles the account.
All right, so you do this every year?
No, do I put it back in?
Yeah, are you saying you take it out every year and put it back in every year?
Oh no, I don't. No, I was under the impression that I was not going to receive it.
Oh, you mean they sent it to you in error?
Well, in my opinion, it's an error. But as I reread the letter here, I
Okay, see, last year, one of the other changes, and this was under the CARES Act, you did not have to take an RMD. So if they sent it to you in error and you sent it back right away, I understand that.
Well, I did, yeah, almost immediately.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't supposed to send it to you. You weren't, and nobody was supposed to take an RMD last year if they didn't want it. So if they send it to you and you send it back within 60 days, I don't see that you have a problem. But the thing is, you got the 1099-R now, right?
I'm sorry, I have to do what?
You have the 1099-R form.
No, I don't have that.
So they didn't send you a 1099-R.
No, not yet. Should they have a red?
I would think so. If they do send you a 1099-R, you would just list it as a rollover, so you take the distribution and nothing would be taxable out on the line. But maybe because it was their own error, they just did the accounting and they're not going to send it to you.
So I should, but before filing tax, I should request a 1099?
No, if they don't send it, that's the best thing, because that means they fixed their own problem.
Oh. Would that RMD still increase my 2020?
No.
No, Dave, you weren't supposed to get it. You sent it back. And if they're not sending you a 1099-R, they send it to you in error, then it looks like that's it. So beyond that, I don't know. You'd have to call your company.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Yeah, so if you got the money on an RMD that you didn't ask for and they shouldn't have sent it and you put it right back to them, I would think they wouldn't have issued a 1099-R.
Right. The only issue would be with the withholding, where that's where he would have to check with his financial person that they reimburse the account for the withholding as well.
Right, because they should have the company should send it back because they shouldn't have taken it out.
Correct.
Okay, let's go to Joe in Hamburg. Hi, Joe.
Hi, I have my wife's SSA 1099 security here, and on it states that she was paid by check or mail $26,050, and then Medicare deducted $1156, voluntary income's $2081, and they come out with the net benefit of $29,296. I don't understand how the net could be when you add taxes and deductions for medical, and then they're going to tax me because that's my net.
The total amount that you receive is what's taxable.
So you want to look in the pink pink box.
The pink box.
Right, that's 20. So she's
that's her gross.
I'm not saying you should like it, but that's the way it is.
The pink box is the gross, and then from the gross comes the Medicare, which would go to your Schedule A if you can use medical as your itemized deductions. And then there's the withholding that would go on page 2 of the tax return. It's just like your pay.
Your paycheck. You know, if you got paid $10,000, they took out $765 in FICA, and that went to the federal government. But you still paid taxes on the $10,000, even though you didn't get that whole amount of money. That's how they count Social Security as well.
Okay, so they add in your.
Yes, sir. All the stuff that you took out. They took out for your benefits is going to be part of the computation for whether your wife's Social Security is taxable.
Okay, then in box 6 it says voluntary income. Will that come off the net then?
You mean voluntary income tax withheld?
Yes.
That would be a payment that goes in the payment section.
Oh.
That's a withholding.
You have to report on page 1 of the 1040 what's in the pink box on the 1099 SSA. There's no question about it.
But then the withholding
goes on page 2.
Is a payment.
Oh, so it will be deducted on page 2.
Yeah.
Right. It's a payment under the payment sections of the 1040.
Oh, okay. Whatever. Okay. Well, I appreciate your help.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
Okay. And we got a text. Currently living with my girlfriend and 2 young children. She, of course, has been claiming them both as well as head of household.
Would I be able to claim one while she claims the other to benefit with the dependent of head of the household? Is this legally? All right, because first of all, the person in the household who is the wage earner, who is maintaining over 50% of the cost of the house, would be the one that would qualify for head of the household if those children were his. If those kids are not his, then he has no qualified individual for whom he's maintaining a household, so he has to be single. She, on the same token, is also single because she's not maintaining the household if he's making more money. She's single with 2 kids. So the question is, are any of these kids his? Right?
That's right.
If they are his and he's the major breadwinner, then he'd be head of the household.
And not her. Only one person can be head of household.
And it would be the person who is
makes the most
head
money.
of household.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. And that was a text. Okay, let's see. We're going to go back to the phones and we're going to do Jim. Hi, Jim. How can we help you, sir?
Yeah, hi, Esther. I don't know if you addressed this. I'm on the cell. New this year is that line 30. What is that? Recovery rebate?
Yeah, that's really important. That's all the stimulus stuff, Jim.
Right. Well,
so let me ask you this: are you married?
I am. I filed a joint return. I'm eligible, but one of my children, they're filing single. Are they eligible?
Yeah. Yes. Everybody who files a return is eligible for stimulus of either. And on that recovery rebate, it says, did you get your recovery rebate of $1,200? And if you didn't, then you just leave it blank because they're going to give you the $1,200. Did you get the recovery rebate of $600? You leave it blank. Now, if your house had 3 people in it, then it would be. If you had 2 dependents, then it would be 6 times 3 or 1,800. That line is the form that computes whether or not you get extra stimulus money that you didn't get.
Okay.
It's really a big deal.
If you got that money,
then you don't put anything out on that line.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, Jim. Bye-bye.
And real fast, the texter said try printing it in portrait, not landscape, for the 1099G for that color.
All right, did you hear that, sir, down in
Erie, PA.
Erie, Pennsylvania? Print it in landscape.
Portrait.
A portrait.
Not landscape.
Okay, not landscape. Okay, let's go to the phones and we'll talk to Dave. Hi, Dave. How can we help you, sir?
Hi, Esther. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I came in and met you once in your office on the boulevard. I got a love letter from the
Love letter from the IRS. And, it's very frustrating right now because the IRS is really not opening their mail. And so those people that are listening who love to send their tax return in via the U.S. mail, lots of luck, Charlie.
Me.
It's not good. That's you, Dave?
Yes.
Oh, Dave.
Well, here, let me give you a little background. I had a tax accountant, and one day I left off my stuff, and I looked in the obits, and there was his picture. So I went and I collected it from his surviving spouse. He was a friend of mine, and he had died suddenly. So I picked up the stuff, and he didn't start it yet, and I started going through it, and I've been doing my own taxes on paper since 2004. Now, I heard last week you said not to send them in on paper.
Do it Dave, honest to God, for everything, if you want your taxes timely done, and who would have ever thought they were going to start sending you money, right?
Yeah.
But if you want it timely done, if you want your payments done and recorded correctly, if you want an electronic transmission record of what you sent, if you want to pay your taxes that's owed, do it electronically. There are people, and Chris will bear me out on this, who have sent in payments because they might have filed electronically and wanted to pay by without the IRS taking the money out of their checking account, so they send in checks. The checks have still not been cashed, but the IRS knows they owe money, so the IRS is writing dunning notices and threatening to take their children. So do it electronically.
Figured it out on paper, and I was ready to mail it in till I heard you. Now,
don't, Dave.
$600.
Dave, don't.
I'm using the standard deduction.
Don't do it, Dave.
If you don't have to file, and you're only filing to get your stimulus, we're going to charge you $25, Dave.
Okay. So you
don't do it, Dave.
Electronically for me?
Don't do it, Dave.
Yeah. So you can do it electronically.
We can do it electronically.
$25,
and you can sleep at night. Direct deposit too.
Yeah. Because when I got that love letter, the state, I did something wrong, and I saw one of your associates, and I was claiming as income from the state a pension, about $35.
Dave, if you knew how many people do bad tax returns, you would
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Anyway, we want to help you. So we will be very happy to help you.
Yeah.
Okay?
So the one question I do have, can you use sales tax now on a vehicle?
As an itemized deduction as part of the $10,000 maximum salt deduction on Schedule A.
Okay.
Okay?
But that on the state, though?
No, that's on the federal.
That's federal. Okay. Very good.
Thanks, Dave. All right. Should we take... Yeah, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with your phone calls. Linda, Kim, Mike, Kathy, and your calls on the other side. Hey, everybody. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady, and to us, your family, and we have all of our offices open, all 32 area offices, 9 to 9 tonight, as a matter of fact, and we really want to help you, and I'm going to tell you, it ain't easy this year, for sure. That's for sure. All right, and wanted to make sure, by the way, we were talking about when you can't claim a dependent anymore, if it's a non-child that lived with your house full-time, you gave over 50% of their support, they're U.S. resident or citizen of the United States, when their taxable income exceeds $4,300. I wanted to make sure I got that out. All right, and we got
Kathy.
Kim?
We'll go to Kim first.
Oh, Kathy's been waiting too. Well, we've got Kim. Hey, Kim, how can we help you?
Follow up sort of on your previous call.
Yeah.
I have an amended return, not for 19, not for 20, but for 18. Therefore, to my knowledge, I had no option but to mail.
That's true.
That unfortunately is correct.
September, October.
Lots of ruck.
Heard nothing. I'm not concerned about the time, but I know there's a 3-year.
Right.
So how do what's your suggestion?
Well, you got to send a certified mail return receipt request.
As long as it's postmarked, they have to save the envelopes. The IRS scans in the envelope, so they will have the postmark.
Yeah.
So you won't have anything
and
to worry.
And you want on your end your proof. And their end, and they will. I mean, there's going to be a time when they're going to finally open up these envelopes. They have to.
Okay, I had just sent it regular mail, so your recommendation would be to resend it certified?
I would.
You could, but have you gone online? It says, "Where's my refund?" But there's the other option there that says amended returns.
I didn't see that other option.
Well, how long ago did you send it,
September.
Kim? Oh, okay.
September, October.
Yeah.
So I would look to see where it says amended returns. Where's my refund? They may have acknowledged that they have it.
But if not, it doesn't hurt because there's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of people are still waiting for their refunds. I can think of a taxpayer that just told me that the IRS said, gee, they had questions, and they stopped processing it. And then it was up to you to call them. So if you see that they got the amended return, you'd know to call them.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, I'll give that a shot. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Kim.
Take care. Bye.
All right, we're going to go to Kathy, who's been so patient. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, you.
Yeah, what can I help you with?
Yes, I had a question. My son was a freshman in college in fall of 2016, and he took an extra semester, and he graduated in December of 2020. I have always claimed the American Opportunity Credit.
You know what, Kath? They're telling me that we have to break right now for special news. Can you hang on?
Certainly.
All right,
sorry.
News happening on Capitol Hill right now. The final vote in the impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump taking place with senators in a roll call vote. That final vote, 57-43. The vote staying mainly along party lines, finding that the former president is not guilty of inciting the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. A handful of senators, including GOP Senator Richard Burr, rounding it out to 7 Republicans that also voted with Democrats to find him guilty. Again, the impeachment vote for former President Donald Trump ending in 57-43 vote, finding the president not guilty. This has been a special report. I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Okay, I'm Esther Gillies, the tax lady. We're back with you, Kathy. Thanks for waiting. Yay, President Trump is not guilty. So, all right, back in the back to taxes.
Yes. I had a question, like I said, again, with the American Opportunity. My son was a freshman in fall of 2016, and he took an extra semester and graduated in December of 2020. We have claimed the American Opportunity Credit, but I'm not sure he took that extra semester, if we can still claim the American Opportunity.
Okay, you can do the lifetime learning. You can only do 4 years of higher education with the AOTC.
So you
this
got
would be the
that
fifth.
16, 17, 18,
Right.
and 19.
Right.
So 20 you have to do the lifetime.
Right.
Oh, okay. We have to do the life.
You do.
That's what I wasn't clear on. Thank you.
You're welcome, dear. Thanks for holding. Okay. Yeah, Chris, you got something
Oh,
to say?
I was just saying that you got to be careful.
all right, he says they're not my children, and she's technically married.
She's still married.
Well, that even makes it even better, that question over there. So, no, you're not head of the household, and those are her kids, and
I wouldn't get involved with that
that's for sure.
situation
All right,
on
and
the
then-
tax return.
On the tax return. Are we going to go to Linda? Hi, Linda.
Hi, Esther. I got a question. First of all, I'm 71, and I've owned my house for 30 years here, and I've always gotten Star or Enhanced Star.
Okay.
Now, I got a letter because each year I apply and get the City of Lockport's partial tax exemption for real property of aged persons for 2021. Okay, on that it said, this form may only be used to apply for the partial tax exemption for real property of senior citizens. It may not be used to apply for the Enhanced Star exemption, which is a separate exemption.
Right. The star is for the school tax. What you're doing is for the county tax. They are doing a special reduction for seniors, low income who own homes. There's a reduction in the county tax.
Okay. My question is, if I understand it correctly, and I might not, that because I've got Enhanced Star previous years, I don't need to apply each year. Is that correct?
The enhanced star, you check with your town, but the state has control all star programs. So if you file a tax return, you should be automatically reapplied for the enhanced star, but check with Lockport to make sure.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Hey, thanks for listening, Linda. Okay, and we got Mike. Hey, Mike, how can we help you?
Hi, Esther. I have some questions about the 2020 unemployment 1099. I haven't received one yet.
That's because you don't get one unless you go and get it. You have to either go get it and print it. You go to New York State Department of Labor, and you can go to you actually log in like you're collecting benefits. Then it gives you, once you're in, you can go to the portion that says 1099R. You go there, click it, and you can make a copy. Or you can call the number and give them your Social Security number, and they will mail it. But they don't do either without it's upon your impetus.
Oh, okay.
And the phone number, I gotta love New York State, is closed because it's the weekend. You have to wait till Monday to call to get a request.
But the internet is open right now, so you can go to New York State Department of Labor.
Okay. Well,
so you need your username and password.
Okay, great.
All right, Mike, thanks for calling.
Oh, that was Mike.
That was Mike. And we're going to go to John. Hey, John, how can we help you, John?
Hi, Esther. I filed a joint return. My wife got $600 stimulus. I did not.
Okay.
Claimed the $600 on line 30.
Yes, sir.
As a credit.
As long
Yes,
as
sir.
your income, what's your income?
100,000.
Yep, you're good. Now, you filed married separate, and married joint or married separate?
Married.
Yeah, married filing
Yep.
a joint return. Yeah, you go ahead and put that on there. You'll be fine.
$600 credit.
Right. Don't do a paper return, John.
Oh, okay.
Don't do a paper return.
I
know you're going to do it, but okay. I'm just telling you because I love you. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you, John.
Auntie Esther would not steer
well,
you
that's
wrong.
because you run in.
Oh, I know.
It's terrible.
It's going to be 9 months probably.
When everything I see that's a problem, it's because it's in a paper envelope somewhere, and God knows.
And they're
where.
not the problem is they're not working at full capacity in their sites.
Yep.
They're at 25%.
You know, and think about it. They had to send out stimulus 1. The IRS had to do stimulus 1, stimulus 2. If they do a stimulus 3, they're doing it in the middle of tax season. I'm just telling you, if you want, it's like John here. Now, if he would just do it electronically, he'd know that there's all the direct deposit information's in there, and it would be good. But anyway, now think about this. Let's say that you're a couple. You both make maybe $50,000, $60,000. No, let's see. You would get No, let's say you make $190,000 together. You're both making about the same, right?
Yep.
If you file married jointly, you would not get any of the stimulus because you're phased out.
Right.
Darn near close. But if you filed married separately, and if you both can't itemize, and you both do the standard deduction, you both get the $600 and $1,200 stimulus. Think about that. That's another angle on this thing. It's unbelievable the things that are in this law that you really have to think about because. And then they would get the $1,400 too. Well, unless it's capped out. Well,
Right.
maybe not. Okay, and do we have quickly? We'll do Kathy. Kathy, quickly. How can we help you?
Okay, real quick. I just want to do a single file, and I want to do it on my own. I just want to know what's the best way to do it, and if I should do it on my own. Did it last year.
All right, are you single?
I am.
All right, so you mean you want to file on? You want to physically do your tax return yourself?
Yeah, like I did it online.
Well, then do it online.
Oh yeah, but I mean, is there any, because of the laws how they changed?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I don't know the other software. I only know my software, but I can just tell you it ain't easy. So do whoever you want, TurboTax, Block, whatever. Do whatever you want. But do me a favor, then take that and bring it to one of our offices. We'll check it at no charge.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome, dear.
Stay.
Okay, I guess we're being kicked off the air. I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady from EG Tax. If you need the best tax help, we answer your tax questions. Go to our website at egtax.com. We got all of our offices open. We love you. We want to help you. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.